During the first 2 minutes of the first round playoff game of the Connecticut Sun versus the Indiana Fever, Dejanay Carrington poked Caitlin Clark in the eye. Caitlin fell to the ground. She was holding her face. The refs did not call a foul. They didn't call a flagrant foul. The play continued.
Caitlin Clark's WNBA journey has been nothing short of eventful, but now she's facing a possible suspension.
Dejanay is going up for the ball. She misses, and then her hand bends down like this and goes straight into Caitlin's eye.
Can you believe it? All because of something as simple as tossing the ball.
Caitlin Clark is taking over this league. And every passing game that she does something awesome, it makes the decision to leave her off the Olympic team that much stupider.
It seems a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Despite breaking records and showing off her amazing skills on the court, it feels like the league is more focused on calling technical fouls on her than recognizing her talent.
WNBA, I'm talking players, coaches, and refs. They're all a bunch of Caitlin Clark haters. They're all a bunch of jealous haters.
Yep.
They are just working themselves up about Caitlin Clark just to hate on her. Skylar Diggins is bumping her. Their girls are complaining on the bench. Referees are getting into it now. They're all a bunch of haters.
The referees seem eager to blow their whistles for any reason.
Dejanay, she's a spice. Carrington, poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, regardless if you believe the eye poke was intentional or not. What happened to journalists and media? Well, standing by their stories and, of course, their opinions. Furthermore, can we stop trying to cancel people because we disagree with their opinions?
Whether she's celebrating a great play, showing frustration, or just playing her game, it's frustrating to see such a key player in the sport treated like she's constantly at risk of fouling out.
All of this conversation around Indiana Fever fans, it's all just misguided over-hatred of Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA really needs to rethink how they're handling this situation.
And pointing a finger at those guys, they're the racists, when really, y'all are the racists.
It just doesn't seem fair. Over in Indiana, the Fever are grabbing headlines with their record-breaking performances, largely thanks to Caitlin Clark. It's been almost a decade since the Fever last made it to the playoffs, which is no small achievement considering only the top teams get there each year. And now, in her rookie season, Clark has already secured a playoff spot for them. Now that's impressive.
The people coming up with excuses to hate Caitlin Clark and the new fan base that she brought. And justifying, again, as we talked about yesterday, Nike won't even put out a Caitlin Clark commercial, won't put out a Caitlin Clark shoe, because Nike has decided that they must bow to the angry black feminists, the Black Lives Matter movement, the feminist movement overall, the whole identity politics movement.
But just as everyone's gearing up for the playoffs, there's trouble brewing. Caitlin Clark is teetering on the edge of a suspension.
Yes, Caitlin Clark is the biggest star in sports, but Nike, in order to promote equity and fairness and diversity and inclusion, you must spend all of your money promoting Asia Wilson, someone most people don't know exists and don't care about.
Here's the deal. Despite an incredible rookie season packed with record-breaking moments, she's facing a potential suspension due to the WNBA's strict rules.
Is it even possible to cancel anyone anymore?
If a player racks up 7 technical fouls in a season, they have to sit out the next game. And guess what? Caitlin's sitting at 6. That means she's just 1 tech away from missing a game.
Carrington has spent the past several months mocking and smearing Clark. The Los Angeles Times provided that context with the following headline. Caitlin Clark suffers black eye. It was caused by a player who mocked and called her out. Well, that seems pretty easy. That seems very easy. But, of course, the normal suspects take issue with this because the normal suspects, I don't know why we ever give Sarah Spain any credence at all, but we do on this show.
And with the playoffs so close, the timing couldn't be worse. Fans are on edge, feeling like it's a nail-biting season finale.
Caitlin Clark got you watching the league. Because it wasn't just her. You wanted to see who eventually she was going to end up going against. You saw other folks trying to get at her and trying to get at her team, and you saw fans and all of this other stuff going on, which we will get into, right? She has you transfixed on the entire league. That's why I brought up Michael Jordan.
The issue isn't just the rule itself. It's how Caitlin Clark has been treated by the refs all season.
But when you with Caitlin Clark, you find yourself watching the league as well.
We're talking about a rookie who's led her team, set records, and brought a lot of excitement to the league.
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast. And then I came here and was trying to give everything I could to this team. And it was special. There was a lot of things that this group accomplished that, a lot of people probably didn't think was possible.
Yet she keeps getting hit with penalties for small things. The 7 technical foul rule is supposed to keep things under control, but it feels like Clark is being punished for simply showing passion on the court.
As the most impactful women's basketball player we've seen in a generation. And it took a combination of things, both on and off the court. Off the court, attendance, viewership. On the court, breaking the single season scoring record or the all-time scoring record in college. But now you see her in the WNBA, and you can say the exact same thing. Most impactful that we've seen in women's basketball for those same 2 reasons. Arenas were upgraded, viewership through the roofs. But then when it comes to the basketball, what she was able to do was truly impressive. She averaged 19 and 8. For some context, I won Rookie of the Year. I think I averaged 12.
Let the girl celebrate. What's really frustrating is that most of her technicals aren't from bad behavior deserving harsh punishment. They're mostly just reactions, like celebrating a big play or questioning a call. And honestly, who hasn't wanted to argue with a ref after a bad call?
The operative word that comes to my mind is gratitude. There's an incredible level of gratitude that should be accorded to this young lady with what she did for the sport. That's not to take anything away from anybody else, but I often argue, when I've argued with folks about this, you think NBA players shouldn't be thankful to Magic Johnson?
If Caitlin Clark isn't playing, hardly anyone is paying attention.
She is starting to push Asia as the best player in the league because I don't see anybody control a game the way Caitlin can.
This just proves my point. NBA player DeJounte Murray, now with the Pelicans, recently mocked Cheryl Swoops for saying Caitlin Clark isn't dominant. Some of the records she's broken are almost laughable given the criticism she faces.
I'm sorry. It's gotten to the point where Rookie of the Year is over 2-3 weeks ago. All of a sudden, Caitlin Clark is starting to push Asia Wilson for MVP of this league, and I am not exaggerating.
According to Michael Mill from Fox Sports, the final viewership numbers for the WNBA show a staggering 3-fold difference between Caitlin Clark's games and those of other players.
I've got the fever. I can't help it. I can't stop watching. I can't stop talking about the impact Caitlin Clark is having on game after game after game.
Let's be honest, if there had been a football game on, like Ball State versus Marshall, I would have watched that instead. Seriously, I wouldn't have bothered tuning in to see what Sid the Sloth was up to or how many rebounds she was padding.
She takes over, she maestros, she controls game after game after game with her passing in her carefully chosen spots to score.
This brings me to the recent comments from NBA star DeJounte Murray, who mocked Cheryl Swoops for saying Caitlin Clark isn't dominating. He posted about all the records Clark is breaking, adding laughing emojis.
One thing Caitlin Clark does maybe better than anybody in sports right now, makes it about others, makes it about team. Think about it. When's the last time you didn't see Caitlin Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlin Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never! Never! You never hear that. Now, that's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league right now.
NBA legends like LeBron and Charles Barkley have pointed out that it's clear from an outsider's perspective that Clark is on another level.
Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number 1 pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that. Now, that might not fit in the categories that everybody would consider for MVP. I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player.
The stats don't lie. While she had a great season, claiming she's dominating is just ridiculous. It's honestly embarrassing for people like that. The Pelicans guard is mocking Cheryl Swoops, who has really damaged her own reputation over an Iowa draft pick in the WNBA. I can't help but think it's tied to how she feels about herself.
Just shoot it in the fourth quarter. You're that good. You've proven to be that great. Her three-point shooting has heated up. And nobody in the league can flick logo threes as effortlessly as Caitlin can.
But for some reason, it feels like Caitlin faces tougher consequences for things others seem to get away with. It's like she's playing under a different set of rules, which is driving her fans, and probably Caitlin herself, crazy. Let's break down why this is so frustrating. Caitlin Clark isn't just any rookie. She's been putting up unbelievable numbers. She smashed the WNBA single-season assist record with 329 assists, making it look easy. On top of that, she broke the rookie scoring record with 761 points, a record that hadn't been touched since 2006. She's also the first rookie ever to record a triple-double and even made it to the WNBA All-Star game. This isn't just someone playing well, she's redefining the game. Yet instead of celebrating these accomplishments, we're stuck talking about technical fouls. Seriously? Even during her impressive 35-point game, the refs were watching her like a hawk. Little things like slapping the stanchion in frustration have piled up and put her in a position where even a minor outburst could result in a suspension. For someone who's achieved so much so quickly, it's hard to believe that the WNBA seems more focused on penalizing her than on recognizing her talent. The threat of suspension hangs over what should be a standout rookie season like a dark cloud. Some critics are already calling for the WNBA to rethink how they handle players like Clark. Yes, rules matter, but there's a difference between enforcing them and unfairly targeting a player who's clearly making an impact on the sport. And honestly, Caitlin Clark's technical fouls are as ridiculous as her record-breaking season. When you hear what she's been penalized for, you'll be shaking your head. It really does feel like the refs are out to get her, and it's hard not to roll your eyes at how absurd some of these calls have been. Let's look at her first technical foul. She got it for simply arguing a foul call, something every player does. Seriously, are we saying she can't even question the refs without them getting upset? It's not like she was being aggressive or causing trouble. She just disagreed with the call, and boom, technical foul. Then there's her second technical, which is honestly kind of ridiculous. After draining a three-pointer, she does what any player would, celebrates. It's a classic I just made a big shot moment, but the refs thought she was a bit too excited and hit her with a technical for excessive celebration. Excessive? Since when is celebrating a great play a problem? In any other situation, that would have been a highlight moment, but instead, she gets penalized. It's like the refs have never seen someone just enjoying the game. And as always, Clark handled it with her usual grace. Now, on to her third technical, which really leaves you scratching your head. During a tense moment with another player, she gets called for unsportsmanlike conduct. But come on, players talk trash all the time. It's part of the game. Yet somehow, Clark ends up with another technical for what most people would just call competitiveness. It almost feels like the refs are waiting for her to make a wrong move so they can blow the whistle. Her fourth technical came in a game against the Phoenix Mercury, and it's a familiar story. Clark spoke up after a controversial call, as any player would.